Damn, son, where'd you find this?
People don't be offended by the truth. They be offended because you called out the truth. Simple as that. They don't want to hear any other narrative that makes them look bad.
And one thing I can't stand at this big grown age is somebody who act like cause and effect does not exist. Like, yes, your actions caused this outcome. Yes, what you did lit the match. Like, why are you surprised and playing victim?
Guys, Chico, they never lie.
That's how you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late, they cancel last minute, forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll tolerate it.
Yo, 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 yo. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Apologies. I will fix the title after this stream is over. I tried to do it beforehand. I just realized spell check kind of got to me again. I can't stand that. But peace and blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. Thank you all for being here this evening. Shout out to my poets, writers, content creators. Salutes to everybody in the building tonight, man. Do me a solid, like, share, repost. Let the people know that we are live. You dig? I got Coach in the building. I got Zay in the building, man. I'm gonna bring them up here shortly. I got a clip for y'all I want to play, man. Coyle Ray and Funny Marco, they were having a conversation that turned into let's bring this to the platform and have our own spin on it. So we about to do that. All right. What's going on? 4650. What's the word? What's the word? What's the word, man? Blessings to you. Blessings to you. This is gonna be an interesting one, man. I can feel it. Let me bring everybody up to the big screen real quick, man. Yo. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
What's up, y'all? How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yo, it's good, man. How everybody doing?
Good.
Salutes. We about to get it in, man. I'm loving the energy tonight. Shout out to the chat. I'm gonna bring this up on the big screen, man. I shared it with y'all, but the people didn't get a chance to see this. Oh, Octavia's back. I see you. All right. We about to get it in, man. I'm gonna bring this up on the big screen and we're gonna do what we do. All right. let me see here real quick. I'm gonna let this play all the way through. Matter of fact, let me get the comment section up here real quick. There we go. Let me go ahead and hit play on this. All right.
My partner, my man, really loves fat asses, and I don't have one. And we're talking about getting married, and I know that we really love each other, but it's hard because I don't have a fat ass, and I feel like I can't please him, and he's never going to be satisfied with me.
All right. Number one, love yourself is very important. You're beautiful. You're alive. That's important. They got something called Fat Tuesday. Give them a Fat Tuesday. So every Tuesday or every once a Tuesday, go out there and look at a like give him a Tuesday date where he can go out and he can enjoy fat ass and look, you know?
I hate it. Why? You're gonna look at everywhere. Instagram.
No, Tuesday. No, just only on Tuesdays.
No. You can't prevent him from looking at everywhere. Fat butts everywhere. Like he gonna look.
My grandma had I didn't look at it.
If me and you were about to get married.
Right.
And I said, I love Prince.
I don't have one of those.
Do you think you would tell me I could go look at Prince every Tuesday?
Why? How would I know what a Prince at?
No.
I will buy me a cucumber and I will have a print and I walk around the house.
That's not a real so I don't.
You don't know that though. Well, you probably would.
What are you talking about? We're about to get married.
Yeah, I know. That'd be catfish.
So yes or no?
I mean, overall.
Moral of the story is you like fat butts.
No, it's not that. No.
No, it's fine if you do. If you like big butts, it's fine, Marco. You could tell me.
If I get it with a girl that has a big butt, I have a kid with her. Guess what? My son might have a big butt.
You always got a story for everything.
I don't want my son walking around with a fat.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because if you get a girl with a fat, it could probably your son can get it.
All right. So the woman called in. I guess they got a show. A woman calls in. Her concern is that her guy is going to drift off. His eyes are going to linger towards a certain preference that he has on women that she doesn't have, and she's pretty much feeling insecure about it. Y'all seen a video before, but you had a chance to kind of sit with it and get your thoughts together. So this was more or less for the chat, but I want to get y'all initial thoughts on the clip. You know what I'm saying? What's your take on the first of all, the woman and her concerns, and any responses that you might have gotten from the feedback that they gave?
I'll say from the woman's, it didn't sound like a response. It sounded like she was explaining what's leading up to them not getting married. I don't think that's something she just found out. You don't just almost get married to somebody and just realize the person in a relationship likes a feature that you don't potentially possess. And if was such a deal breaker, you know, what led up to it? Did they offer other solutions as far as for working out and different things of those nature? So, yeah, it just sounds kind of suspect. And no, I definitely was. I cut it off after that, man. I wasn't paying attention to the guy in the hot dog suit. Sorry.
Zay, man, what's your thoughts, man? How you feel about that clip?
I feel like Funny Marco handled that very well. He handled it in a comedic way, and you know that's his brand. You know, he makes a joke out of everything. But as for the situation, I feel like you should be comfortable with yourself. A lot of people, you know, get into relationships and they think that the relationship can save, you know, can make you whole, but that's not the case. You know, it's you gotta be comfortable with yourself, and then have someone as an addition to your soul. Not, you know, you see yourself in this person. You should already be seeing yourself. So like something as little as, you know, having a fat ass, you know, it'll be small if you were more confident with yourself. It wouldn't be something so big, and you will be able to find someone that appreciates you for you, not because of your body parts. If I, you know, should say.
So initially, my thoughts are this: your man didn't propose to you because you are a Frankenstein project, right? He didn't take bits and pieces of various women, throw them on you, and then say, all right, this is my Build-A-Bear. Most men, when they propose to a woman, they're doing it because they vetted you properly. Or maybe they didn't. They think they did. But most of the time, they're sitting back, they're taking you out, you're spending time with each other, you're going through the necessary process to figure out if this person is somebody that is going to be here for the long run or is it going to be temporary. And if he goes out of his way to spend a significant amount of money, it doesn't really matter if it's $20,000 or if it's $10. If that nigga spends anything on you and then he creates a atmosphere, a romantic space, and takes time out to prepare to get on one knee and choose you to spend the rest of his life with, he's not looking at the things that you might be concerned with. Because as far as he's concerned, you're exactly what he wanted, the way you are. I don't know why we've gotten it in our head that you have to have all of these attachments in order for you to maintain somebody. What you said is absolutely correct. Aside from her concerns about him, you gotta be confident in yourself. You gotta love yourself to the degree that where I don't care if it's Cardi B, I don't care if it's Selena Gomez or whoever the hell it is. You gotta walk, talk, and carry yourself like you are that. Because at the end of the day, we're all equal. We're all humans. They might have a different level of status than we do, but we're all humans. And your status does not make you a great partner. Your money doesn't make you a great partner. Your fat ass doesn't make you someone that is worthy of being with for the rest of my life on that sick bed. So yeah, she definitely has some insecurity issues. I agree with Octavia on that one. And I I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I ignored Marco too, man. I know that's his thing. He's a comedian. He has to add that flavor to it, but that part I'm gonna get into in a moment because they turned it into a separate conversation. But I yield the mic for now. Let me see. I agree. If he wants you, then he wants you. Yeah, I don't know why people feel as if you know you can have the greatest body in the world, but if your personality and your attitude is trash, nobody is going to want to tolerate that. I don't know why people don't get that in their head yet. You know what I'm saying? You develop these egos because you're used to people fawning over you. Oh my God, it's such and such on Instagram, or it's such and such over here. Oh, you're nah. I need to know if I can lay next to your ass every day. I need to know if I can leave the bathroom open while I'm sitting on the toilet and I'm struggling to get one out. Are you going to be okay with that? Are you going to be okay with my toenails clawing into your legs at night when we sleep? Like there's other things that come into play when it comes to your spouse beyond just the physical, because you're going to get older. You might get sick. Your hair might fall out. You might lose yourself. You might go through a season where you don't want to exercise no more. You start picking up all that poundage. Then you don't have the same physique that you had when y'all first met. It might be a season where you're not in the honeymoon phase no more. You might get sick and tired of looking at them for a solid month or two. What's keeping you there beyond the physical? There's things going on with her beyond just what we see here. And, unfortunately, there wasn't enough context to go into it. But usually when folks are concerned about their spouse wandering off, it's probably because of other traumas that they didn't face or they didn't deal with. Or maybe there's a conversation. We talk about conversation pieces all the time. Maybe there was a conversation that they didn't have in this area. And because of that missing piece of the bridge, she's still kind of in the back of her mind, like, what if? So,
How do y'all feel about Fat Ass Tuesdays?
I didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest with you. I mean, I know, like, for real, I know there's trends. Like, you got, what's that, WCW? I know they have different things that they kind of promote and celebrate, but I don't really be paying that attention. You know why? Because, shit, you see that every day. That's all day, every day. All I got to do is turn my app on and it's right there in my face. So it's like, what's different on Tuesday that I didn't see on Monday or Saturday or Sunday? You know what I'm saying?
Zay, was you saying as a solution or just in general?
A little bit of both, honestly.
Okay. Hey, tell me how you feel about it as a solution.
That's tricky. That's tricky, to be honest. But
it's your question.
I feel like it could be I don't think it could be a solution, to be honest. Like, if you're doing that, you're just asking for failure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can take it from a different approach, right? Maybe because you don't knock people who got kinks, so maybe that's one of his kinks. You know what I mean? So maybe you can accept that as far as for how that works out. But yeah, I think it's crazy, and I know it's for comedic relief, but yeah, that shit was kind of crazy to throw out there. What else you got over there? I know you said you had a part 2. What you got?
Segueing into this next portion, which is where they had an exchange between Coi Leray and Marco about looking at other women and looking at other men. Which is actually the focal point of the title. Is it cheating, or is it an issue for your partner to have a lingering eye? Would you have an issue with your significant other from time to time kind of looking at some titties, looking at some thighs, some prints, some sweatpants. Would that bother you? Is that really a thing that people gets triggered by a lot?
I know in my experience, me looking at someone else has not been beneficial for me personally, but that's why I couldn't find a solution when asked. Like, I thought I would put the question out there, but I don't even have a solution to bring to the table. But um, I don't think it's beneficial for your partner to be looking at someone else's body part. But if y'all do it together and y'all find joy in it, maybe it could work that way. But on your own time, I don't think that's right because me personally, I've had experience of doing that, and it drawn me away from my significant other when my attention should be on that person, and I didn't. Sometimes that doing that simple thing of looking at someone else can lead to other things. Is all I'm saying, and in order to prevent that, it's best to just be in communion with your person.
Yeah, I I don't advocate for cuckold relationships at all. That work for people though. It does. Adam 22 will tell you firsthand that he has no problem with that. I think that's trash as hell. I will say this: you cannot avoid looking. You can't. There's going to be attractive people everywhere. You can't avoid it. You do have self-control and discipline. I mean, I do. Like if I'm locked in with a person, we're going to have a type of relationship where you just know, right? It's us. It's not nobody else. But we can kind of joke around with the fact that, oh, I saw such and such or such and such, and but I'm not gonna be rude and be all up in people's faces and shit while we out in public and like turning and breaking my head and all that. I'm not doing that. But a lot of people really get offended by it. They get triggered by it. And it's like, how can you say you care about somebody or you love them, but you're lusting after other people, right? That's where the problem comes in. Because it's like we just go out and we're just automatically supposed to have our faces straight like this. You ain't supposed to look across the street. You ain't supposed to do nothing. You're just supposed to be like that. That's impossible. One, because for safety reasons, my nigga. You want me to get hit by a bus? Like, you don't know what threats are out here. You don't know. You gotta have your surroundings on lock 24 hours a day, inside and outside hours. You can't avoid looking anywhere. So would I have an issue with her staring? If you staring, and I'm gonna put it like this. I'm I'm put it this way. I know what is innocent and what isn't innocent, right? So if you give choosing signals, you're not mine. If you put yourself in a space where you're trying to make it look like you're available, you're not mine. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to do all that. If it's like you glance and we just keep it pushing, you see them, but you're not going out of your way to make it look like there's access to you, cool. And everything else is going to come off like a violation. So I think it really does depend on the person. Like Chef said, that's kind of my take on it though. What about you, bro?
I feel like sometimes I agree 100% with what you said, but there comes a time where you need to be aware, and you touched up on that. You need to be aware of your surroundings, and I think like that should be your forefront of your mind 100% of the time, is being aware. You knock 100% of your problems if you were just aware of the situation. And I know I said that every single time we're on here, but it's just it's easy to neglect that. I just want to say that.
And Octavia, this is how men are, man. I think we all are like that. Some people are just more loud with it. If we out in public, we're in the midst of the populace, and we walking past a group of people. 9 times out of 10, I've already seen your entire frame approaching you, so I don't have to turn my head. I've already seen it going that way. So once I walk past, it's like I don't need to turn around for that. I've already caught it, just like I'm sure you did as well. It's unspoken. I think it gets wild when you be all like, or you be looking at your like. I think it's weird if you with your partner and you staring at them, you waiting to see if they're gonna look. That is weird. I'm not doing that. I shouldn't have to. You're not going to make me feel like I have to do that ever. And I'm not going to make you feel like you have to do that ever. But you talking about if someone is telling you about the person's body and their print and all that, that's wild, man. That's wild as shit. Let me ask you a question, Coach. You out, you at the mall or something, you with your person, and you walk past a group of people, and you catch a kind of a does that trigger you? Does that bother you at all? Does that cause you concern? Does that raise red flags for you, or is it just like, oh, it ain't really that big of a deal?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. Me personally, I be in my own world. I don't pay no attention to that kind of stuff. But I definitely can understand how they could bother some folks. You know what I mean? It just taps into the same things, you guys kind of been hitting on is, maybe the comfort level, maybe insecurities, you know what I mean? Different things like that. But I think it's all good if you communicate and you can make it a playful thing. Just don't, be disrespectful. The key thing, like we always say, is have boundaries. You know what I mean? Don't overstep that line. But just know that if you do play those kind of games, you're gonna win stupid prizes because you can't control if maybe you out drinking and then somebody gives too much of a nice compliment or cross that threshold, with disrespect and goes a little too far and overstep those boundaries. So you just have to think about those type of things. You know what I mean? So just use discretion, common sense, and good judgment. If you know your person ain't that type of person, then don't mess around. You know what I mean? But ask the question because maybe they're thinking about it and they just don't know how to approach you. And that could be something that bring you guys closer together. Just flirtatious, foreplay, shit like that. Just other ways to look at relationships. But just my opinion.
Can you trust a person that says they would sleep with a celebrity? Like if they, matter of fact, all right, put it this way. Can y'all trust?
Go ahead.
Can you trust a person who has a celebrity crush?
What I'll say is, I probably wouldn't trust you if you had an attitude about it, right? Because you made it comfortable enough for me to have one. You know what I'm saying? And if I shared it and then now you got attitude and you judging me, you know what I'm saying? I think we got issues on both sides. But I don't think a celebrity crush, I mean, I don't really do the celebrity thing because they're no different than anybody else. They put their pants on just like me. But you're just finding an excuse to have a crush on somebody else, or just like the hall pass shit. So, you know what I mean? I don't really believe in that kind of stuff. I think it's just you looking for a way to, have an excuse to want to kind of gawk over somebody. Just like you just mentioned, if you're walking past somebody, maybe that's why they're not turning their head to look back, because every time they see their celebrity crush, that's when they're fantasizing or fetishing, over that type of stuff. Now they can be judging you saying, hey, I don't look at people when they walk by. Well, yeah, but you do look at this person online or TV or in movies and romanticize, those type of relationships. So I just think, you just got to be careful when you open up those type of lanes in relationships, but be open and communicate about it, because that's some things that people can secretly be hiding and fighting about, and you don't even know it. You got competition and don't even know it. You know what I mean? So just have a conversation. Great question.
I want Zay to answer this before I go back to the comments, because I want to know how he feel about that. But that's a good point.
When you said that question, I instantly thought of Chris Brown, and I saw it in the comments too. His name popped up. I think like celebrities like Chris Brown, Usher, they do things to serenade the crowd. Their audience is dominantly women, so they will do anything to bring that type of cash flow or support from that community. And women be eating that up all the time. And sometimes they be showing their cards without even saying anything, because they idolize these celebrities. But it's not all of them, no. But it shows where your position is in a way. It shows, like, especially people or women who dominantly want to pay a rack on some pictures with this celebrity, doing inappropriate poses with this celebrity, knowing dang well they got a husband or a boyfriend at home, and it's wrong. That's when I will say, you know what, I'm gonna cut the relationship. I don't care if we're married or, if we're dating, I'm gonna end it right there, because you shouldn't be, like, I understand a picture is a picture, no doubt, but the way these women be doing the poses, those you gotta watch out for.
And that
goes back to what he said yesterday, though. That's them being honest, right? Remember we talked about that? That's them putting their honesty on full display, saying, I'm gonna pay him and I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're completely right, bro.
And that's why I asked, because I did live on one. The woman said, man, I paid Chris Brown $1,500 for this picture. I'm gonna take this picture however I want it. And she did just that. She was all up on him. And shout outs to Fast Mike 1. She say, man, my boyfriend broke up with me. And she said, you know what? I don't even care. It was worth it. I do it 5 more times. So it's like when you say everybody got a crush, a celebrity crush, I don't think everybody do. There's celebrities that I'm attracted to. I don't idolize nobody though, especially celebrities. They the worst. For real. You really be thinking that they are all of this and they monsters, a lot of them. Now I don't have crushes. Like when I was coming up, Pink Ranger, Kelly Kapowski and stuff like that. Yeah, that was that was my thing. But
let me say, I think I think people fall in love or lust or whatever the verbiage you want to use with the role that they're playing, not with the actual person, because they don't know the actual person. So it's the actual illusion or whoever they're portraying to be, whether it's an actor, the role in that film, whether it's an artist, the songs that they sing about. They don't actually know these people. So, I would just say they fall in love with the characters. So I won't call the people demons or anything, because I don't think we ever really know anything about the actual people themselves. It's just always the, persona that they're portraying the people that they actually fall in love with.
I didn't say nobody was a demon. I'm just saying a lot of them really be on some other stuff. That's neither here nor there. My point is if you it's like gambling to me. Squish, I almost forgot because you said something funny as hell. You said Usher out here passing HSV or some shit like that around. That's hilarious because if I'm not mistaken, the Bama had something. But here's the thing. You put your spouse in a situation where they have the opportunity to be with their person, that one specific person. Do you think they're going to say, "Oh, Coach is the love of my life"? But that's Maxwell. That's such and such. What are the odds of this person staying loyal to you, given the situation they might be put in?
Man, let me see if I know what you're talking about. You're saying that the person who had a crush on the person that she thought was whoever, and you're saying given the position that she's has the opportunity to have sex with that person?
If she has the opportunity to level or move to him versus stay with you, stay faithful, stay loyal, turn that away, what are the odds you walk away with her unscathed, no temptations whatsoever, y'all survive that test?
So it seems like we're going extreme worst case scenario. So I'll just say, assuming that you built a relationship and it was solid, it wouldn't go anyway. They would get the picture and they would go back home. But assuming you didn't have a great relationship and, whatever the typical trend is on social media, they probably go home and fuck them. I guess it can go either way.
Look, I know it is an extreme because most people are not going to run into these people, but it's like I don't even want that shit in the back of my mind. I don't. You tell me that you got a crush on such and such, right?
Yeah, we're using the wrong words because that ain't what a crush is. But And the other thing is, it goes back to having that conversation, though. You know what I mean? You could use the like hall pass. It's kind of the same thing, like hall pass. If you telling a person they can have a hall pass with that celebrity, meaning they can do whatever type of relationship or whatever case may be, then I mean, I guess that's again based in the conversation. So if you're saying, hey, if you have the opportunity to go have drinks and dinner, but I draw the line at drinks and dinner, right? You establish those boundaries and that expectation, because it's all about expectation management. Now, if you don't know that person and you're having doubts, then you're probably the idiot that's for still being with that person. Because if you're at the stage in your life where you can't trust that person to go out and have dinner and drinks with somebody and not do something like that, it's probably you're being reactive versus proactive in your relationship. You didn't have the hard conversations. You didn't talk about the things that that may potentially be out of bounds for the both of you or the two of you or however many people in your relationship. So again, it's about maturity levels, having those hard conversations, and then just establishing boundaries. Maybe you aren't necessarily the type of person that like to go out and have drinks. So maybe they do meet somebody that like to have drinks. Do you say because it's a guy she can't go have drinks because you don't like to have drinks? Or do you say you can only go out to have drinks with girls or guys if they're, into the same sex, or guys and girls, as long as it's a group setting? So again, it's about your boundaries and your security level, not just her security level. And as far as for how you communicate about that, you know what I mean? When they come back from having those drinks, hey, did you have a good time? How was it? What did you like about it? What you didn't like about it? Oh, you don't want to talk about that kind of shit? Okay, my bad. You had a good time? Again, now they set boundaries. So again, it just goes back, communication going back and forth and being fluid. So, you can have whatever you want if you're willing to ask the question. It's the people that don't ask the questions and go around and say, well, it might have happened this way. It might have happened that way. Well, how the hell you know if you never asked the question? So.
What about you, Zay?
Ooh, I liked your approach, Coach, because you always bring the educated approach. Always on top, always on point as well. I feel like I like what he said, because if you don't have the foundation in set, no matter if you have a conversation or not, it's all gonna go away. I like what you said about that. Sorry, is it? I'm sitting with it, but
Take your time, man. Take your time.
Things like that don't happen. Like, it's 1,000,000 to 1 if that happens to you, and like, you're never really fully prepared when it does happen. Either way, like, you can have 1,000,000 conversations about this topic. You're never fully prepared until you're in that situation. But just know that if it messes with your ideals, then it's something that you should distance yourself with. But if it's something that you align with, then you have no choice but to let it happen. I feel like, as a man, me personally, if my significant other tells me you have this crush, I'm not going to belittle you just because you have this crush on this celebrity. No, I encourage that, because that you encouraging that type of behavior encourage your significant other to come to you about every little thing. you're encouraging communication. So if you belittle this person for having this crush, then you're messing with the foundation, and you're fucked from the start. So I think it's important for you to appreciate that your significant other is coming to you with these thoughts, but make sure you set those boundaries, like Coach touched up on. Set those boundaries from the start, because then your significant now knows how you are and what you portray, who you portray yourself to be, and what your limits are and your restrictions. And I love this conversation, because I'm actually learning that myself, so it's I'm at a point in my life, I'm at a season in my life where I'm learning what's for me and what's not. So it's very important that you just communicate, so I'm just gonna leave it there.
Man, fuck all that shit. You got a crush on anybody, I'm not fucking with you. I'm done. I'm good. I'm gonna keep you right here. We're gonna keep it fair. We're gonna keep it just this, because it's not even about the fact that it's a celebrity. It's the idea that in your heart there's somebody that you think is better than me, or that you look at as someone who could actually potentially be a better partner. I'm always going to think that way. And it's not even just, like I said, it's not about that particular person. It's the idea that you don't have a level of control that is required to be with me personally. It might work for everybody else, but from my position and reading the comments, people will cross the line, even if they just dip their feet in there a little bit, just to see what the temperature is like. I know, because I've done it, and this is just with normal people.
So would you say, since you've done it before, you're not capable of changing?
Oh, I'm far better than what I was, exceedingly. I'm just living in a reality where this ain't TV, right? You watch family.
What do you mean by TV?
Like, you watch Family Matters, Full House, and all these shows where the man gets tempted and he always walks away and he always denies himself, or the woman denies herself.
So you don't mean crush, just to make sure, because it keeps coming up in the comments. You don't mean crush. You mean like they're attracted.
Right.
Because that's not what crush means. But okay, so because you keep saying crush, and you keep saying how they're like not feeling them in the heart and all those type of things. So that's what I'm saying. So yeah, if you're talking about something completely different than a crush, then absolutely. But that's not.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, maybe my wording was wrong on that. I'm not talking about someone who just I'm talking about a person that you have a desire for, right? You don't just see them as someone you like. You literally would drop your drawers for them.
Yeah, I got you. Let's make sure let's look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
Nah, it's at Michelle. Nah, what I'm referring to more or less is All right, put it this way. You know
Strong
how
but temporary feeling or liking for someone.
yeah, it's definitely not a crush. This stuff right here ain't temporary. This ain't temporary. This is idol worship. This is someone who is obsessed with the other person. Period.
That's cool. Yeah. No, definitely, man. So I think we all in agreement right there. You wouldn't want anybody to be in a relationship with somebody that feels that way, obsessed with any particular person that they would, as you just said, drop their pants and get busy with it. But yeah, nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, my apologies, folks.
No, it's all good. That's
yeah.
why we're having the conversation. Yeah, nobody wants to be around somebody who's obsessed with somebody else. I mean, yeah, because we started out talking about celebrities, performers, or them liking the actual role that they play, maybe like in that role or some shit like that. Everybody was obsessed with O-Dog, from Minister Society or whatever the case may be. But yeah, absolutely. Or with like a performer. I mean, we talked about Usher, and that's when he started talking about HSVs. But yeah, I got what you're saying now. Make total sense.
Bro said, "You get a bump, you get a bump. Everybody gets a bump." Hey, that shit real. People don't be caring though, bro. They be out here spreading it. They still out here just spreading it. That's crazy. I'm good, and that's what I'm scared of too. Right? You got a desire for these people. You literally get in the comment sections and argue and fight for them. You got fan clubs for them. Y'all got nicknames and everything.
Man, you had you a big ass New Kids on the Block button back in the day, man.
Yo,
it ain't no different, man. It's just online now, man.
It wasn't even New Kids on the Block for me. It was TLC.
Oh, okay. I'm telling my age then. My bad.
Yeah. SWV. Yeah, it was them. Janet Jackson. Yeah. But then I mean, like, if I lock in with a woman, man, and I really care about her, I'm not looking at nobody else. You're not going to be insecure. You're not going to feel threatened by the next person. Your body is always going to be the perfect shape and size and all that. So I don't know, like, where this woman got her doubt from, right?
Man, taking it back to that story, if she got, obviously it was something that led up to prior to that. I mean, you just don't figure out that right before you're going to get married. So yeah, obviously she missed a lot of the signs. You know what I mean? And again, everybody keeps saying we don't live in this perfect world, man. But believe it or not, man, if you just try communicating with people, it'll get you better than you was, today than you was yesterday, man. So that's what I just try to keep putting out there. And then, we just got through talking about this dude, who's all over social media now with his leg implants. So, you know what I'm saying? How you going to keep, talking about the young lady, and everybody's out here doing it. So that's the crazy part, man. So you don't know who you're meeting out here in this world now and what type of insecurities they may have, men and women. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So again, you just got to be careful. And that's why I just keep emphasizing, communication, because, it may sound easy to do, but that's one of the hardest things to do is to have an honest conversation with somebody. And then especially coming from, men suffering in silence nowadays and, being vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? So asking somebody the question and then giving them an honest answer. And then waiting to see how they react. You know what I mean? Because nowadays people are being, men is kind of frowned upon to trying to be emotional and things of that nature. So just depending on, how that person react. So, you may or may not be honest. You know what I mean? And that's when the ego kicks in. So, I just think it's, it's deeper than that. Definitely we got to keep having these conversations though.
All right, well, let me get to one of my questions that I jot it down over here real quick so I don't forget them. Can you be attracted to other people while in a relationship?
Yes, man, you're human. If you're honest and you're not lying, yes, you can. Now, if you're gonna lie and try to be thugged out and be like, fuck that, I'll never be like that. You're lying. Yes, you can be attracted. Now, what you do with that after that, that's key. That matters.
Zay, come on, man. Tell us the truth, bro. Don't lie to us, man. Come on, man. I know
I mean, I agree with Coach, man. I mean, like, yes, I'm not always gonna be happy about the attraction, no. But you have to be comfortable with yourself to allow the attraction, because you may be attracted to some other woman, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna act on that attraction. You're just infatuated with the person. So, you know, as long as you don't act on that lust, because the moment, I'm reading in my Bible study, the moment that you're thinking a sexual moment about a person, whether they're single or they're married, you already committed adultery. You already committed adultery. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm still learning. But in my opinion, the moment you already have a lustful thought in your mind, you already lost. So it's best you don't act on that attraction. If you're attracted to someone, that's fine, but don't act on it, because that's the moment you're messing with your relationship, or you're thinking in the worst possible way after that point, and there's no going back from having those thoughts. So it's best you think, oh, she's pretty, oh, he's cute, keep it there. Don't you go beyond that. You're asking for disaster.
I agree. And I mean, the conversation should be so fluent at the very beginning that these type of things right here you can just laugh at. It's not even nothing to be all paranoid over. You're not hovering over them in the cell phone. You ain't waiting for them to go to sleep and then you take their thumbprint and you scan their phone and all. You're not doing all of that. Why? Because y'all so in sync with each other. It's not that big of a deal. But everybody who has successfully found their person, they learned each other. They had a respect for each other to the point to where what works for them is not going to work for you or me or the next person, but it works for them. You definitely got to have discipline and self-control. Real talk. The only reason why these relationships fail is because Coach has already said it on a number of occasions. The communication, it either it never existed or they just didn't know how to have those conversations, period. So if you're going into something insecure about yourself, but you still headstrong and you still want to pursue the person, it's probably best that they know exactly where your headspace is. It wouldn't be no different than me saying, oh, by the way, I only have 3 out of 5 of my toes. You've never seen my feet before, but we're we're about to be intimate, and I don't want you to be all shocked when I pull this off, and then it's like
wolf knuckles.
Exactly. Like, yeah, you don't want to. You want people to have the opportunity to decide how they want to move forward, and if they can move forward at the end of the day. So yeah,
A great point, man. I think as everybody gets older, the one thing they feel comfortable in is when they can control that environment. And by you giving them the options to want to move forward or to at least, make a conscious decision, on little things like that, I think that's what turns into the big things that makes relationships strong. And that's what people should, focus on. And I don't think it's something that's talked about enough. But again, having a great conversation, an opportunity like these, man, to give it a different approach, you know what I mean? Kind of get both sides, it's important.
final thing I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna yield the mic so anybody who wants to close out. If a person really care about you and love you, man, you could be straight up and down, no chest, no nothing. That person is going to look at you like you got everything. They're going to make it work. They're going to make it clap. They're going to make it. They're going to do everything with that. They people who really are in love with the other person, or they really respect you and has that value for you. They're going to treat you as such in all aspects. It's not even a doubt to it. You can have a medium butt, you can have a flat one, you can have a gigantic one. You see how people date out here. There's folks that's dating 600-pound women right now. They push them around and everything. Everybody's preferences are different. That's how you can tell when it's legitimate or not. It's not about how you look, it's about the content of your heart. So I'm gonna yield there. If anybody wanna say any matter of fact, shout out to everybody in the chat. A lot of words being shared, a lot of wisdom being shared, a lot of humor too. I love that, man. I'm gonna yield the mic though to anybody who wants to say anything before we get out of here.
Go ahead, Z.
I like your point, bro. Cause it's not talked about enough how if someone truly does love you, all those don't matter. And to that woman that, spoke to Funny Marco and Coileray, right? If you're watching this right now and you somehow come across this stream, just know we love you how you are, okay? You don't need to show up a certain way just because you feel that's what society wants you to be. You don't have to be that. Be yourself. No matter what, be yourself. And if that person don't like you the way you are, that's on them. That's what I'm gonna end it at.
Real spill. Hope this helps somebody, man. Everything for everyone, and have the conversations, even if they're uncomfortable. You'll thank yourself later. All right. Shout outs to Octavia, shout outs to Chef, shout outs to Oscar, shout outs to Squish, shout outs to everybody that I missed. Michelle. Yeah. Love, man. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us tonight. We're gonna spend the block tomorrow on King's Table. Tap in if you are available to hang out with us. We about to get up out of here. Enjoy the rest of your night. Drive safe. Stay warm out here. Don't get stressed out on the job. And Yeah. Do me a solid before y'all go, if you don't mind. Peace.